Ladies and gentlemen, we are here live on the Rafael Duke Page Guide channel. It is I, Rafael Duke, back here once again for another video. Well, more like a pre-show type of deal, as I am currently right now at my hotel here in Manhattan, New York. And it is 2:35, and at about 3 o'clock I will be heading on my way to the Barclays Center for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn #4, and figured I'd do a small hangout and give you guys my predictions. Everyone's done predictions but me, so it's time. I figured I'd do them. So I actually have the matches written down here real quick. I thought I'd tape this, but I figured I'll go live for the small amount of time that I'll be live. Ooh, my apologies. Alright. So NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4 taking place live at the front of Barclays Center in New York City and Brooklyn. 5 matches on the card. One has been announced for NXT tapings next Wednesday, and that is Pete Dunne versus Zach Gibson. But let's hit the matches on the card. So I didn't write these in any particular order. I just figured I'd go. Alright, so first is the NXT North American title. Adam Cole defends versus the one and only Ricochet. In the match a lot of people think could steal the show. I do think it's going to be a really good match. It's going to be a good clash of styles. The flashy flying style of Ricochet versus the more hard-hitting grappling style of Adam Cole. I don't know if this is going to kick off NXT TakeOver. Usually it's always the tag teams that do, so I'd be surprised. Well, in New Orleans, it wasn't the tag teams, it was actually a North American title ladder match, so it's either going to be one of those two. I do think EC3 versus Velveteen Dream probably would be like the second match, depending on whatever kicks off. I do not think that they will have my apologies, the Undisputed Era go back and forth, so for example, having like Cole first and then did O'Reilly and Strong. So it depends. So on my predictions, I circled Ricochet. I do think Ricochet is gonna win. I do think it wouldn't be too early to put a title on him, but then again, you have to determine if it's time or not, which is gonna be it's gonna be NXT's choice, is he ready or not. I think he is, but Adam Cole also just won the belt like in New Orleans, and then even defended in Chicago. Chicago, he was managing the Strong and O'Reilly. So I really do not think, thinking of it like that, I don't think that they'll have him lose the belt in his first defense. But with that being said, I do think Ricochet could do well, and I do think Adam Cole can maybe. I think he's a better chaser of titles than maybe holding it. Well, that's just me. But we'll see. So this is not a match where I'm rooting really for one person or another, and if someone loses, I'll be upset. But I do think Ricochet will win. Tag belts are next. Undisputed Era defending against Mustache Mountain. This is their third match in at least a few months. They first faced off at the NXT UK Championship tapings at Royal Albert Hall in London, England, where Mustache Mountain won. 2 weeks later, Undisputed Era regained the titles in a rematch, and this will be the Trilogy one. This one I'm not sure about, because it's obvious that the next tag team, really, for whoever wins this, is going to be the War Raiders. And it makes sense it's going to be the War Raiders. That will get the winners of this match. With that being said, Undisputed Era is the heels. They're really good as heels. I don't think they'll turn them babyface yet. And Mustache Mountain are really great baby faces, and they got the NXT UK stuff coming up soon. That should be televised at some point. Don't know when, but it should be televised one day. But with that being said, I do think Undisputed Era is going to retain. I just don't see them getting called up yet. Not especially with Bobby Fish still on the shelf. Maybe when Fish is more healthy, maybe we can call him up. Also depends if they decide to keep Strong with them or not. So it's going to be The Undisputed Era was kind of in an interesting situation. I've heard a lot of people actually say, I was listening to Sirius XM and busted open on my way up from on my way back up to Montreal on Sirius XM. I was listening to Busted Open, and a few callers felt like how could I say this? A lot of them felt like Adam Cole was kind of hurting himself being with the UE, the Undisputed Era, instead of being by himself, which is an interesting take, to be quite honest. But I do think, they'll be called up as a trio, if anything, and I do think Strong will end up being separated from them at some point. So Undisputed Era will retain. All right, up next, a grudge match. It is EC3's second takeover, his first singles takeover match since he signed in January, as he takes on the Dream, Velveteen Dream. Velveteen this year in takeover is not really his best year. Only won once, that being in Philly against Cassius Ohno. Lost in New Orleans to in the ladder match, and lost in Chicago to Ricochet. So Dream is due for a win. That being said, Velveteen Dream, I don't think he's near a call up. I just think his character might be a little bit too not weird, but maybe a little bit too hard for Vince to book him properly. So I do think Dream's gonna stay. I do want EC3 to win. I mean, he could be up due for his first takeover win, and Dream's always the type of guy that he can always bounce back, over someone else. But that just remains to be seen. I am rooting for EC3, but then again, Velveteen Dream can be another moment. Same thing with Cole and Ricochet and Undisputed and Mustache Mountain, but I'm going with EC3. So far, Ricochet, Undisputed Era, and EC3. Up next, I have him as the co-main event. It's probably not going to be the NXT Women's Championship is on the line, as Shayna Baszler will defend versus Kairi Sane. Now, this is a rematch of the first ever Mae Young Classic Finals that took place in Las Vegas. Since then, both have been on somewhat different career trajectories. Kairi's been on NXT a little bit more than Shayna. Kairi has lost 3 times, according to NXT's record keeping or whatever. Probably 2 of those 3 losses were the fucking Shayna Baszler anyway. So, and Shayna Baszler has only lost once, that being her first NXT title chance against Ember Moon at TakeOver Philadelphia. Is Shayna up to a call up? It depends, because there's been these rumors going around that WWE is still planning to do the 4 Horsewomen of WWE versus 4 Horsewomen of MMA match at Survivor Series, and I don't know if that will happen. I don't know. Personally, I don't want it to happen, because personally I know that they'll have the MMA chicks win. It'll be a fucking slap in the face to your 4 Horsewomen group, who you've said has done so much for women's wrestling. When Yang gets beat by a woman's been a wrestler for 6 months, a woman that's been a wrestler for 3 years, and 2 women that started wrestling 2 months ago. So it'd be ridiculous. But back to this match, I do think it's gonna be good. It's not gonna be my favorite match of the night. Shayna Baszler doesn't really have this exciting style of matches. Kairi Sane can. Kairi Sane has actually lost at TakeOver War Games. She was part of the Fatal 4-Way for the vacant title in Houston, Texas, which was won by Ember Moon. So she's due for a TakeOver win as well. So I do think Kairi Sane will win. The rematch will be set for Evolution later in October. Actually, that way. That way would be towards Long Island. And then the main event of the evening, it was originally going to be a triple threat match between Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Aleister Black for the NXT Championship. But Aleister Black, due to suffering a legit groin injury, has been pulled from the match, and the match has not been turned to a last man standing between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. Now, this is going to be the third matchup that they have one-on-one. They had New Orleans, Chicago, and now Brooklyn. New Orleans, Gargano won in the main event, the unsanctioned match. In Chicago, Tommaso Ciampa won the main event in the Chicago Street Fight. So they're at 1-1. Now, there has been rumors that Aleister Black will be cleared for TakeOver War Games, which is in November in Los Angeles. So there's a chance that he could be back to wrestle in a triple threat match by then. I could see Gargano winning the title, acting kind of babyface-ish. And then Aleister Black attacks him and blames him and says it was Gargano that attacked him. And, that could maybe tease our Gargano heel turn, but I don't think Gargano's going to turn heel. So I could see Gargano, winning tonight, but I do think, if anything, he'll probably lose it back to Ciampa, either in the NXT tapings up to War Games or at War Games itself. So yeah, I'm going with Gargano, but then again, this is like another one I just think it's going to be a phenomenal match. So I don't doubt that it's not going to be any good. So I'm just really excited to see the result and the match itself. So to recap, I'm going with Ricochet, a new North American champion, the Undisputed Era, retained the tag titles. EC3, new women's champion Kairi Sane, and new NXT champion Johnny Gargano. So those are my picks, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 2:46. I will be getting going soon. How was the trip? The trip was really good, Simon. Waking up at 3 was kind of rough, but then I made it to like the gate around 4, and it took off at 7. It was like a small. It was like a big plane. It was like a small, jet. Where you can carry maybe a few hundred people. It was a good flight. Nothing to say, and trying to get from the airport to the hotel. I wasn't driving. I took what they call a shuttle, and just even the drive, like the traffic here is horrible. Like seriously, like thank God they give you the metro to use. The metro is really the transportation here in Manhattan, because by car it would be ridiculous. So yeah, but the hotel's nice. You'll see it when I start uploading. I'll probably start uploading tonight at the grocery. Can I hear you, talk to you, enjoy, see us, enjoy, show us the view from your hotel? Well, I can do that. I'll just take the phone off the charge. Anyways, I'm about to go. So I close the blinds too, so I have to open them. So hopefully you see this, Simon. That's the view. So you see, that's Jersey on the other side. That's the West River over there. That's the West River. The other way, like towards there, is it would be like Brooklyn and all that. But I actually have to leave. Like the entrance is like the exit's like down there, and then I turn left, turn right, walk a bit, and I'm already at the subway station to head to Brooklyn. So, yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cap this off real quick because I want to go, not to arrive too late. I don't know how long the metro is going to be down there, so I'd rather not take any chances. I'm going to shut off the TV. If it fucking turns off. There we go. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to tune back in for my vlog. Day 1 should probably be up by maybe Monday or Tuesday. Everything will be uploaded at least by next week, hopefully. And, Simon's going to be editing this, but I don't want to put any pressure on Simon. Simon can do it in the amount of time he wants. But thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourselves a very good night. Enjoy NXT TakeOver. I know I will.